Connecticut, peaceful, picturesque, full of charm. But beneath the quiet towns and sleepy hills lurk stories that refuse to die. These aren't just campfire tales, they're whispered warnings, and they all have one thing in common. No one who hears them forgets them. Here are 3 chilling legends from the Nutmeg State that just might make you look over your shoulder. In 19th century Monroe lived a woman named Hannah Hovey, but the locals didn't call her that. They called her Hannah Cranner, the witch. She lived alone after the mysterious death of her husband, who, according to some, fell under her spell. Then, off a cliff, people claimed she hexed them when they wronged her. A farmer who refused her pie found his livestock dead the next morning. A woman who mocked her couldn't bake bread again. Birds flocked to her house. Storms brewed when she walked by. No one dared cross her. And when she sensed death coming, she issued a final warning. "Bury me at home, in my coffin, no shortcuts." They didn't listen. They tried to drag her coffin through the snow, but every horse refused. The wind howled. Her coffin slid from the sleigh. Later that night, the townsfolk saw strange lights flicker in the woods. Trees bent in the wind, except the ones near her grave. Was she truly a witch, or just a woman society feared, and gave power through that fear? Even today, some say if you visit her old gravesite, you'll feel the wind change. Sudden, cold, watching. The legend of Hannah Cranner endures, a chilling reminder of how fear can shape reality. Whether witch or wronged woman, her story's etched in the annals of Connecticut's haunted history. And as the moon rises over Monroe, one can't help but wonder if Hannah Cranner still walks among us, her spirit lingering in the shadows. Deep in the woods around Trumbull, Monroe and Shelton lies a story that feels more horror film than hometown rumor. They're called the Melonheads, small humanoid creatures with swollen, bulbous heads and glowing eyes. Legend says they were once patients at an asylum, children experimented on by a mad doctor known only as Dr. Crow. When the asylum was shut down, some say the children escaped into the forest, twisted by trauma. Others believe they're inbred descendants of colonial families, banished to the woods and forgotten for generations. Either way, the stories line up. Shadows darting between trees, campers hearing footsteps circling their tents, teens daring to visit Melonhead Road and never going back. One story tells of a couple who took a wrong turn in the woods. Their car broke down. They saw something. Small, fast, with 2 large eyes. The car started again, but claw marks were left on the windows. Locals warn, don't drive too deep into the woods, don't honk, and if you see something, don't stop. The Melonheads legend has persisted for decades, with new sightings reported every year. Some locals even claim to have had personal encounters, adding fuel to the eerie tales. Whether you believe in the Melonheads or not, one thing is certain, these stories keep the mystery alive. So, next time you find yourself in the woods of Fairfield County, keep your eyes open. You never know what might be watching. The hanging hills of Meriden rise steeply above the Connecticut Valley, beautiful, rugged, and watched by a small black dog, no bigger than a spaniel, silent, shadowy. It appears and vanishes without a sound. But here's where it gets strange. Everyone who's seen the dog reports the same thing. The first sighting, harmless. The second, a warning. The third time, you die. It sounds like superstition until you hear about W.H.C. Pynchon, a respected geologist in the 1800s. He wrote about seeing the dog once while hiking the hanging hills. He thought it odd, but beautiful. Years later, he returned with a colleague. They both saw the dog again, perched on a rock, watching. His friend said, "That's the second time I've seen it." Days later, he was dead. He fell while hiking those same cliffs. Pynchon, he went back, saw the dog a third time, and within a week he too fell to his death. Coincidence? Or something far older and darker than we understand? Some still hike the hanging hills today. Some see the dog, none see it more than twice. The legend persists, a chilling reminder of the unknown. So if you ever find yourself in the hanging hills, keep an eye out. You might just see the black dog But remember, seeing it once is a marvel, twice is a warning, and thrice, well, you know the rest. 3 legends, each rooted in truth, twisted over time and kept alive by fear. In Connecticut, the past isn't past, it watches, it waits, and sometimes it walks beside you. So if you're ever wandering the woods and you hear a branch snap behind you, don't turn around too fast, you might not like what's there.